All right, let's dive right into Jaspersoft Studio. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the core idea of how professional reports are actually built, not just written. And trust me, getting this one little shift in thinking is the absolute key to mastering report design.
So, to kick things off, I've got a question for you. What on earth could Lego bricks and these complex, data-heavy professional reports possibly have in common? I know, it sounds like a weird comparison, but hang with me because by the end of this, you'll see they're built on the exact same idea.
Okay, so let's get into it. The very first concept we need to wrap our heads around is what I like to call the building block philosophy. This is where we kind of have to unlearn some of our old habits, especially if you're used to thinking about things like a standard document.
And this here is the big difference. Over on the left, you've got your typical word processor. It's just a long stream of text, one line after another. But on the right, that's the world of a report designer. Here, the page is more like a canvas. Nothing just flows. Instead, you place these individual, self-contained graphical objects. These are our building blocks.
So, if there's one word you take away from all this, let it be this one: element. An element is the fundamental atom of everything in a Jaspersoft report. It's not just a line of text. It's a graphical box that holds the text. It could be a shape, an image. Absolutely everything you see on the page is an element.
All right, now that we've got that main idea down, let's actually look at the tools in our toolbox. We're going to start with the most basic, fundamental pieces, the ones you'll use to build out the main structure of your report. These are the basic blocks.
First up, we've got the simplest block of all, the line. Its job is pretty much exactly what you'd think. You use it to divide sections, underline a title, or just add a little bit of design flair. It's a simple piece for sure, but totally essential for a clean layout.
Next up is the rectangle. And honestly, this thing is a total workhorse. It's so versatile. You can use it to draw a border around a group of other elements, or you can stick it in the background to create a nice shaded area. It's really your go-to tool for creating visual structure.
And of course, to round things out, we have the ellipse. This is how you create circles and ovals. Perfect for logos, little call-out bubbles, or any other kind of stylistic touch you might need. Now let's talk about text. First, there's static text, and that word static is key. This is for any text that is always the same, every single time the report runs. We're talking about things like the main title of your report, or your column headers like name, date, and amount. And then you have its much more powerful cousin, the text field. This is where the magic really happens. A text field is basically a placeholder. It pulls in and displays data straight from your database. So this is for the actual customer names, the actual dates, the actual amounts. This little element is what turns a static page into a real live report. And finally, to finish up our basic toolkit, we have the image element. This one's pretty self-explanatory, right? It's how you get your company logo, a product picture, or any other graphic onto the report canvas.
Okay, so we've got our basic blocks for structure and text. That's great, but let's be real. Reports are all about the heavy lifting, the serious data. So it's time to level up and unlock the power blocks.
And this really is the big question, isn't it? Reports aren't just about pretty labels and lines. They're about taking tons of complex information and making sense of it. So how do we get from these simple little blocks to powerful data analysis?
Well, the answer is with these guys. Our power blocks. As you can see, each one has its own special superpower. You got the chart element, which is perfect for visualizing trends. Then there's the crosstab, which is an absolute genius at summarizing data into a pivot table. And the subreport? This one is amazing. It lets you literally embed one entire report right inside of another one. Now, what if you have a whole bunch of elements that need to stick together, like a customer's address block? The name, street, city, zip, all that stuff. Well, that's exactly what the frame is for. It's just a container. You group other elements inside it, and then you can move them all, resize them, and manage them as one single unit. It's just like a pre-built Lego set. And finally, we've got the break element. It's a really simple tool, but so important for controlling the flow of your report. You need to make sure a new section starts on a brand new page, or you need to force the data to jump over to the next column. You just drop in a break element. It's how you manage pagination and make sure the final report is easy to read. So we've seen the basic blocks and the power blocks. We have all our individual pieces laid out. The final step now is to see how all these pieces come together to create a blueprint for pretty much any report you can possibly imagine. And this right here is the heart of it all. It really doesn't matter if you're building a simple, one-page invoice or some kind of crazy, complex dashboard with a dozen charts. The process underneath it all is exactly the same. It's all just about picking the right blocks and arranging them on your canvas.
But the power of this whole system doesn't just stop with the blocks we've already looked at. The entire framework was designed to be expanded, and that leads to probably the coolest feature of all.
You can create your own blocks. That's right. For all you developers out there, Jasper Reports actually lets you build your own custom components. So if you need a specialized barcode or unique kind of gauge or some other object that doesn't exist out of the box, you can build it yourself and just plug it right into the designer. Your toolkit can grow as your needs get more complex.
So let's bring it all home. What's the key takeaway here? What's the core philosophy you should have in your head as you start designing? Let's boil it all down to your reporting toolkit.
First and foremost, stop thinking about writing a document and start thinking about building a construction. Remember that every single thing on that page is its own little self-contained block. You start with the basics, the text and the shapes, to build your structure. Then you bring in the big guns, the power blocks like charts and crosstabs, to handle all your data. And by combining all of them, you literally have the power to build anything.
The philosophy is simple. The tools are powerful and the possibilities are pretty much limitless. You have the blocks, you have the canvas, and you have the blueprint. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build?